Okay, we should be live. I'm just going to test out this sound. Let's see if it's on or not. Just going to test it out and take a quick listen. Test it out and take a quick listen. Test it out. Okay, so we could hear my voice. That's good. It's not going to be a long stream, I don't think. But let me just pop out this chat. Oh my god, my DPI is way too high on my mouse. Okay. Stop my video there because YouTube, I think, is compressing all videos right now down to 420 or 480. 480 for, I guess there's too many people trying to connect. The internet's going slower. I actually work for a bank within Canada as well, and I can't even connect to the VPN. The VPN connections are down. So that's all good news. Speaking of VPNs, I did a video. Where's the videos? Let's go over. Video on the VPNs yesterday. The Unifi site-to-site VPN, even using the beta, it's a little different, but it's super easy to actually do. There's really only one button that you have to press, and then you have a site-to-site VPN. With the actual Unifi, that if you're having a public IP, why is my bitrate so low? Damn, can't do that well streaming. Okay, anyway, yeah, so VPNs are really in need right now. People have been asking me a ton about them, about how to get the L2TP VPN set up. Unifi can't handle that much. Actually, let's see what they can. Unifi USG L2TP VPN connection max, maybe? I thought it was only about 15 connections, so if you have a larger business, that's obviously not going to work for you. What does this say? Okay, I actually read this post yesterday, and they don't really say, but they're saying 20 to 30 megabits per second max between the actual client and the server. Which, I mean, isn't bad. If you're just trying to remotely work, then you're going to be fine. I'm just going to see what he has here. Like, I never found a maximum number of actual connections that you could VPN in through it. But if you're going to actually use it for more VPNs connections, then you're going to want to go to higher end, maybe a netgate pfsense, which is actually extremely easy to set up as well if you're doing OpenVPN. So I have the netgate SG1100, which I don't use right now. I'm still using the USG, but we might switch back to that. It's not overly powerful, like the specs on it. Let's look at that right now. Specs. Oh, this serve the home. Let's just see where it has a dual core. It has the ARM v8 CPU, and yeah, it has a 1 gig port, which is decent. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I just found the CPU actually load goes up fairly high when I'm using this, and I'm doing very basic stuff. I think I just put an open VPN on there, and then we just did one connection to it. Storage is only 8 gigs, but that's not a big deal. We could offload that onto our Synology NAS. The SG 3100, I don't even know what difference this is, but I'm fairly new to pfsense, and I'm going to dive deeper into it, and then we'll do, I'm going to actually do more videos. But for now, we're going to stick to the netgate SG1100. Or we will move to some Cisco, let's see, Cisco Small Business VPN router with a 1 gigabit interface. Whoops, 1 gigabit. 1 gig, we'll just put that. I think I actually have a Cisco RV340 It's a bit older, so I'll have to upgrade the firmware, but or maybe it's not the 340. I have one with a 100 gigabit interface, but for the price, that's not actually that bad. 269 USD. It's going to be a bit more expensive for me as I'm Canadian. It has 2 WAN ports with the RJ45, so there's actually load balancing between the two WAN ports, which Unifi doesn't have. The USGs don't have that. Oh wait, no, they have the load balancing. Sorry, for the WAN ports, but they don't have multiple IP addresses that you could assign. 900 megabits per second TCP throughput, so that's pretty good. VPN functionality, secure interconnectivity, including IPsec, layer 2 tunneling protocol over IPsec, and Cisco IPsec. So we'd be using either standard IPsec or L2TP. I'm going to actually try to dig that router out and do some videos on it. Another video we're going to be doing shortly will be on Ansel. So Ansel is kind of like VMware, where it's a virtualized software. I actually reached out to the company, and they are going to give me a 6-month license to actually deploy this. I'm going to be using a Raspberry Pi 4 to deploy the Ansel. We'll do some virtual machines on it, see how it works, and then we'll use our Synology NAS as kind of like our SAN. They have different solutions. So this is a turnkey one. Let's just see what the prices are like on this. It's more for small business. I'm not going to put in a VMware solution for small business, as the license fees are crazy expensive. Free onboarding, fanless and silent, mirrored SSDs. I don't know if they actually tell you the prices. Let's find out. Okay, so an Ansel XD with an Intel X Xeon D, 4 cores, 16 gig ECC RAM, 250 gig SSDs, optional M2 cache, and 10 gigabit interface. That's only $1,500, which actually isn't that bad. But then you could go very large depending on the amount. Oh, it only has a 1. So their most expensive only has a 1 gigabit LAN, which is kind of odd, but we're going to be trying it on the Raspberry Pi. And I forget what their actual hypervisor is called. I think it's called Ant-Man. Ant-Man hypervisor? Yeah, so it's the Edge Linux with Ant-Man on it. So this is the private cloud. Okay, so they do have a pricing structure. I think you could actually just spin up VMs right off of their cloud. MongoDB, okay. Apache. We're just going to end up maybe spin up a Windows and a Linux server, and then maybe a Docker, and then try to do some stuff. We could host our Unifi controller within it. The next thing that's going to come up, probably, I'm trying to get some demo equipment, is from Grandstream. So Grandstream's pretty much doing what Unifi does with they're going to have a actual controller, and then within that controller, you're going to be able to do all your configuration for their Wi-Fi access points. I'm not sure about routers and switches and stuff like that, but let's see if we could find some prices on this. So this looks like it holds the most clients. Well, this one as well. That's an outdoor access point, but that's 450 plus clients. So let me just see here. I'm going to try to pull that up on Amazon and see what the price is. They don't have a price on there. GWN 7600. Okay, that's actually not priced too bad. So that's $147. Yeah, that's actually not that bad. So what's the difference between... Okay, so that's just the lower end model one. This one will do 450 clients, which I don't need in my house. This one's up to 80. Okay, so this range goes 165 meters, which is a lot more. 100 meters, and it supports 1 gig interfaces. PoE plus. Yeah, there's a lot to it. And these, I would assume, are like... Okay, so they're long range. I'm not sure if they're point-to-point devices or not. Cloud is a free enterprise-grade management platform. So I'm assuming this is kind of like the Unifi Cloud Key. And the GWN Manager is a free on-prem enterprise-grade management platform. So that's for their access points, typically deployed on a client's private network. It's scalable. Okay, so this would be just like the Unifi or if you're putting the Unifi controller onto your PC. And then they have a GWN series of routers, and APs include controller software at no extra cost. So it looks like a lot of people are trying to go to this model so that you don't have to actually pay money. Kind of like the Meraki, Cisco Meraki, you have to pay a lot of money, but the support is there when you need it. So they have the captive portal, which we don't use too much even on the Unifi. Unique security certificates, which is good. Random default passwords. You could, I mean, that's a good feature, but you could always get LastPass or something like that. Anti-hacking security critical data and secure lockdown. Has a firewall, which is good. A VPN. I'd be interested to see how their VPN works on their router. Client bridge. Client bridge allows an access point to be configured as a client. Bridge wired. Okay. Client connection permissions. Deployment scenarios and key GWN industry features. So let's see some of their diagrams. Okay. Yeah, so the UCM 6202, I believe that's their phone system. I used to do some GrandStream programming, but not a whole lot. So I think we'll end up picking up a few of those unless they want to send a few to me. Other than that, I think that's going to be it for the live stream. Yeah, we'll be back next week. I'll try to make it a little longer with more things to talk about, but we'll end up doing more videos in a few days. All right, guys. See ya.